Okay, part two. So yeah, so it's between 200 and 300 packages, or 250 to 300 packages. Um, Average was around 200 stops. Now, where I live, it's a lot of rural area. So you're not always in the city. And why is it so dark? You know what I mean? If you're in a city and you're delivering 200 packages, well, they're pretty close together. The stops are boom, 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 boom. When you're rural, um, your stops are miles apart, right? So you don't get the advantage of in and out of the truck every 5 seconds. You get in and out of the truck every 5 minutes. But yet they still expect you to deliver these packages in the same time as it would take somebody else to do in the city. You know what I'm saying? It's very annoying. So I sub in for a day. I was saying I was standby, they call. I sub in for a guy or a person, can be anybody, and I look at their package count. Now I was on nursery level one, two, and three. This was a regular route for somebody, and they had 135 packages and 102 stops. Now this is somebody who's been there. Does that really make any sense? I'm on nursery level routes, but I'm getting almost double the amount of packages that somebody who's been there is. And even I talked to some of the drivers. There were two other drivers that started the same day as me, and I was asking them what their package counts were and deliveries were on average, and they were getting 130 stops, 120 stops, and not even close to 200 packages in a day. Why is it that I was getting over 300 packages in a day and over 200 stops in a day on average? In my opinion, now I can't point fingers, or well, I am kind of pointing fingers. In my opinion, I think they were trying to get rid of me. They were trying to get me to quit. So this is that is the power, right? So we need fuel. I think we can do fuel over here. I think that's how it works. And we'll park you over here. And we'll go back to the warehouse. Phone rang. I didn't know if it was my new employer. That's why I answered it. Pause the video or stop the recording. It'll be a two-parter. So this will be part two of whatever. In case you're wondering why there's a stop in between. I got to talk my new employer because it's still a onboarding process and everything. Today's a Wednesday and I start on Monday and I still have to do a few odds and ends finishing up garage. But I was hoping to get some recording in, so I'm doing the best I can. Customize. So we just did that one. We're gonna do the off-road suspension raised tires, of course, the good ones. But yeah, my packages and my deliveries seemed like they were way higher than people that A that have been there a while, and B even the same new people. You know, like you got that many? How? Why is that? I'm like, you tell me. Now, mind you, these two other people that I was talking to, both guys, not that it has anything to do with whatever, but they were good guys. They were. I don't hold anything against them too. Real friendly, respectful. Um, Considering I'm old enough to be their dad. But now we need a flatbed and a crane. Oh, I did it again. I need that stupid thing too. Number two. There we go. Yeah, both very respectful. Heavy duty pipe. But they were younger. So, like, they were probably 22, 23, maybe even younger than that. And I would say 80 to 90% of the people that worked there as a driver were in their 20s. The rest were in their probably early 30s. And then there's me. But if you didn't want me to work there, why'd you hire me? You know what I mean? If you think that I'm too old to do this job or whatever, then why did you hire me? Off-road headlights, that's what I wanted. Because it's an ass in a seat, and the packages will get delivered. But why do you overload my packages? It's like, we're going to get this old dude to quit. And by old dude, I just mean that I'm older than everybody else that was there. I honestly don't know if I need another generator trailer. Did you guys see a generator trailer? I didn't see one over at the other location, so I'm going to grab one. Right here. So make sure you get the generator. All I seen was an empty frame. Like this first one over my shoulder there. That first stop there was a generator there already. The next two there won't be, if I remember right. So you have to haul it over there. But anyway, in my opinion, they were trying to get rid of me. Indirectly. And then when I actually quit, they were mad about it. It's like, listen, you MFers were trying to get rid of me. You know, they're like, well, you're not going to give us notice? I'm like, you got notice right now. There's no rules when it comes to quitting a job because you're quitting the job. Now, if you're resigning from a job or if you are maybe planning a return in case something doesn't work out to said job and you want to give them 2 weeks notice and so that if the new job doesn't work out, who the hell's messaging me? If the new job doesn't work out, that you can return, you know what I'm saying, as a backup plan. I don't ever want to go back to Amazon. I always like tell my friends, I'm like, I'll order from Amazon, but I sure as hell ain't never gonna go work for them. Ain't no way. Not even on a bad day. Yeah. So, that's just my opinion. I think it's aimed at a younger, which is age discrimination in my opinion, but can't prove any of it. They're aiming their employee at a younger demographic, 20s. But then they're, no offense, but they are critical on their drivers as far as being safe and whatever. But you should see the things that I've seen with these younger drivers. They are literally driving these things like they're loaner vehicles. Just unbelievable. Because not every one of these Amazon vans are with cameras and stuff in them. So if you see one, typically, now this isn't a universal thing. If you see one, it's just a white van, like a rental van, and it has a sticker on the side of it. More than likely, it doesn't have any cameras or nothing in it. So that driver is just going to beat the shit out of that van. Drive whatever speed he has to. Maybe stop at stop signs. Maybe roll through some. Probably, or maybe not wear a seatbelt. There's nobody monitoring them. Now, if you see the ones that are actually say Amazon Prime on the side and all their fancy logos, those are Amazon branded vehicles. So they have cameras in them. They have cameras in them so that they can watch you as the driver, to make sure that you're not on your cell phone, to make sure that you're not, that you're not inattentive driving, to make sure that you're not, all kinds of different things. They have your eye on you all day long. They know if you wear your seatbelt, and they know if you're on your phone. They know if your eyes are off the road more than 1 second. And I'm not joking when I say 1 second. Okay, so that's that warehouse. Now we gotta go to the next one. But your standard white van, whether it be a Dodge van or a Mercedes, which in my opinion, no offense, Mercedes, those vans are junk. Customization, engine stays, off-road training, raised tires. But yeah, those we're gonna double duty on this next one because it's such a long trip. We'll just take one behind the other. This one's gonna take a little longer because of the fact that we have to go through some crappy areas. So bear with me on that. Winch. Snorkel. Frame add-on. We're going saddle low. Crane. Roof rack 2. Front side. Rooftop, nothing. Heavy duty pipe. Holy crap, there's a lot of these. Sell all the old ones I don't want. Make 10 grand back. I just spent a shit ton of money. Look, we're down to $44,000. So this now needs hood lights, side exit exhaust, and a new paint job. Alright, let's get us a fuel tanker. But yeah, they keep an eye on you. In my opinion, they're aimed at a younger demographic, but yet they complain about the way their vans are. You should see some of these vans that I was driving. They were all beat up, and they had like low miles, 20,000, 30,000 miles on them. But they were just dinged, dented, scratched, broken mirrors, all kinds of stuff. Well, it says generator. Well, that's the one I just put down, plus the one that's there. Yeah, so there is no generator. We're going to go over to the quarry. That's our next stop, down in here. There's no generator trailer there, so we have to haul one down. So, which is why we're bringing vehicles and all that stuff. Garage. What else do I have? Anything I can sell? I think these are all. This thing I can sell. That's 200 grand. What else we got I can sell? This thing. That's another. That's $123,000. Holy crap on a cracker. These extras I'm keeping. This thing I can sell. That'll give us some money back. Now we're back at the $400,000. I'm going to keep all these other ones. This thing I can sell. We got that in Alaska. Or one of the Russian maps, I think. I want to keep this. For what? I have no idea. Seismic deal. I'll leave that for another day. Alright, so we're making a flatbed crane one. Gearbox. Off-road. Suspension raised. Tires. But yeah, these vehicles are all beat up. That's because people are driving them like they're race cars. And on a daily basis, they were complaining about deliveries to the wrong houses. At our driver meetings in the mornings. They're like, the packages are getting delivered to the wrong house. This and that, and they're, going on and on and on. Flatbed crane I need. Shit, got the crane. Crane. Roof rack 2. Outside, beacons, rooftop, nothing. Heavy duty pipe. Road headlights, exhaust, color. Man, it's dark out, of course. I've been here so long. Making vehicles. But yeah, they complained about this, complained about that, but what it comes down to is they wanted those packages delivered, so it was, I don't know. In my opinion, they let things go. They would say stuff, but then they really wouldn't say stuff. Change truck. Don't want that. There we go. It would be like, be sure you don't pull in any customers' driveways, right? But in order to get, especially some of these rural driveways, in order to get these packages to these houses, some of these rural driveways were a mile long or half a mile long. If you think if you were to carry those packages, that's a half a mile down, half a mile back. You just wasted a half an hour walking down and back. On average, it would take you about a half an hour to walk a mile. 25 minutes, whatever it is. And if you had to do that multiple times in a day, you wouldn't get anything done. It's like I delivered 6 packages today, but I put on 8 miles. You know what I mean? So they tell you not to pull in driveways, but you have to. You literally have to. They don't like you to, especially, I guess, especially. If there's things in the way, right? So unless you're an attentive driver, you pay attention to what the hell you're doing, you're gonna run into stuff. I wish he'd quit sending me shit. A friend of mine sent me just nonsense on my messenger. And typically it wouldn't matter, but I got my notifications turned on my phone, so I hear it. Any other time I could care less. Yeah, we're grinding. But yeah, they tell you don't do this, but in order to get in order to get things done, you had to do it. But they couldn't. Couldn't come out and tell you that you could do it. So they'd just say, don't do it. But if you're gonna do it, be careful. Essentially, it's like, yeah. So they were trying to cover their butts. But there was always property damage. Somebody's lawn got tore up. Stuff got ran over because whoever was driving didn't pay attention. They ran over kids' bikes that were laying in the driveway. Because again, no offense, but they're younger drivers, so they're not seasoned like myself as far as the ways of the thing. They're codependent on GPSs and things like that, aids to help you, backup cameras. Back when I started driving, which was a long time ago, there was no such thing as backup cameras, and you just used your mirrors. You just drove. Now it's all just, I don't know. I get it, technology, it's there to help you, it's there to whatever, but The best way to know that there's nothing back there is to physically get out and look. Don't be dependent upon that camera. And they tell you that. Don't. The camera doesn't tell you everything. It shows you what you should see, but there's still things you cannot see even with that camera. You have to use common sense. So yeah, long story short, that job was not for me, and I didn't stay. If the workload would have been less, like non-astronomical numbers, if I was delivering like I was when I was subbing in for somebody, and I only had 100 stops a day, I'd have kept doing that job. But where I live, it's cold in the wintertime. It's cold, it's snowy, it's winter, it's, 20, 30 below zero Fahrenheit um, in the wintertime. And that's a typical temperature, not just trying to figure how I want to get here. I got to go all the way up this way. Coming through here is going to suck, but there's no other way. So we have to go left here. At some point, coming through here, I'm going to switch and just do one vehicle. But if we can get both vehicles over here, it'll be all right. But yes, it's cold. It's winter. It's Wisconsin. It's cold. It's not California where if it gets down below 50 or 60 degrees, you're freezing. And you don't get any snow hardly. Where I live, it's a lot of snow. I gotta make sure I'm going the right way. Yeah. Left here. We get a lot of snow. So now picture these rural driveways that are not plowed out. So now if we get a foot of snow, these vans are not four-wheel drive that you're driving. There's no way you're going to get down that driveway in those vans. They're too light. You just get stuck. So now you can't walk down. You have to walk down those driveways with your packages. So now Mrs. Smith orders for her 8,000 cats. She orders 20 boxes of kitty litter. Hypothetically, at 20 or 50 pounds a box. So now you got 1,000 pounds of kitty litter you got to drag down that driveway, whether it be on a dolly or not. You try to drag a dolly through the snow. Picture that delivery. And you'll be there all day. And you got a half mile down, half mile back, multiple trips. You got 4 or 5 hours of walking back and forth with kitty litter. But yeah, you still have 200 packages on your truck you got to get delivered. Then you go on to Mr. Johnson's house, and he's got a long driveway, and he ordered dog food or bottled water or whatever. And yes. So about 6 months out of the year, that job would be tolerable if you had a different workload. But because you don't, I think that if they hired more drivers, your workload would be different. But they don't. The turnover rate, just in the amount of time that I was there, which was a month. I was there for 1 month. 4 weeks. And there were people that either A, quit, or B, got let go. They probably lost 30 people in 4 weeks. Whether they were let go or they quit. Which is crazy. But there's always somebody right behind them wanting a job. And again, it's an okay job for this time of year. I mean, you get a little warm because it's summer and it's hot and whatever, but I would never want to work in Arizona where it's always just hot, in my opinion. The summers in Arizona, you just melt. And then winters in Alaska or winters here. It's just not good. Now this one, that's stupid phone. This one is not used as much as the rest of them. Like the sand one. It's basically all you're building in the quarries is sand. And you use sand to build concrete or cement. Um, Again, there's a couple warehouses where you can get some stuff built. But in the next couple missions or videos, um, I don't know where we're sitting on a total time between, because I recorded one, then the other one. Part 1 and 2 of this. This is part 2. It wouldn't have got that stupid. It was a spam phone call, by the way, in case you're wondering. It was not my boss, my soon-to-be boss. Gotta keep an eye out for that behind me. Well, everybody's still with us. Well, that's a good thing. When we go down into the quarry, I'm gonna break away here because it's too tight to get down there. Well, we're almost there. We're almost to the quarry. But yeah, I won't be returning. And my new job is 5 minutes away. We're talking about commutes. The old job is, well, the Amazon job is 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes. This one is only 7 minutes to be exact, from door to door. So, big difference, especially when it comes to wintertime. And I'll be working inside. I won't be working in the elements. It's quite the trek across the map, though. And I did it in one trip instead of two. Then I want to be here all damn day. Oh, back up. Now we want to see how we want to get down there. So we have to go all the way over to here. Around to the right. Well, we'll go through here. Make our way down into the quarry. Because there's no really other way to get down in there. There's no shortcuts. I mean, not really. So we gotta go this way. So I'm gonna ditch the guy behind me. So I can make this tight corner. And we'll pick everybody back up once I make the turn. There. But yeah, I'd much rather have a 5-minute drive. Especially when it's so inconsistent when your finish time is. Now, say you worked where I was working, in the area where I worked, and it was a 40-minute drive to work and to and from work. Now, if your start time was the same every day, which mine was, typically, but the end time, say you worked, let's throw hypothetically, you worked 6 to 4 or 6 to 3, right? So you get to work at 6 in the morning, and you work till 3 in the afternoon. A 9-hour day, you know. Then you got your 40-minute commute to work, and your 40-minute drive home. So now you get done at 3, and you're home by quarter to 4. You still have time to do a few things before you actually have to hit the sack to ensure yourself enough pillow time, or whatever you want to call it, sack time, to be ready to go for the next day. Because nobody wants to be running working a 9-hour day, and depending upon what the job is, if it's any kind of physical demanding job, with only a few hours of sleep. You can get away with it for a couple days, but if you did it every day, it would burn you out quick. And Amazon was so inconsistent with when your finish time was. I mean, typically I wouldn't get home until almost 10 o'clock at night. And I would leave my house in the morning at 7:15 to be to work by 8 o'clock, to where I can't even clock in till 9 o'clock. But I was supposed to be there at 8 o'clock so that I could do all my stuff off the clock. Right? So, in my opinion, they owed me an hour every day of wages that they didn't pay me for. I think they should have to pay you. If you're working in any capacity, they have to pay you. They should have to pay you. Because they expected that done before you had the driver meeting and all of that stuff. You were supposed to have done your walk around video and all this stuff. Make sure everything was good on your vehicle, but yet they didn't pay you for any of that, which is BS. I don't know if anybody else on here has driven for Amazon, if they've worked for another DSP, if it was like that for them, but that's how it was for mine. And again, everyone is different. Some places have more DSPs out of one hub. Ours only had 2. Lots of messages. We're almost done with this. 18 trips around in a circle, and we'll finally make it to the bottom of this quarry. At least it's a nice wide road. Not like some of the last quarry, then the other map. Holy crap, that stuff breaking away, falling through. Well, you know why they made it like this on this one. It's because they don't make you haul a big ass building out of here. Or something that looks like a fire engine part, because then it would be a way narrower route. But yeah, enough about Amazon. I'll order packages, but I'll never work for them again. Yeah, we're gonna take the shortcut. Alright, so there's your whatchamacallit. So we need to fuel over here. Stop the engine. And it's not going to give me that one. Alright. Oh my god. That's funny. I put an application at a truck company, being a sales guy, and they finally. It's only been a month and a half. All right. Stop the engine because the warehouse is over there. But the generator and everything has to be over here. So anyway, we got all our 3 generators set up. So we're there. We're here. And we are, so I don't want to confuse you. So we're at the railway. We're at the one by the garage. The garage is here. And then one at the quarry, which is down on this end of the map. Seemed like it took us forever to get there. But look at all the things on the map. That's crazy, right? The little brick framing, the metal framing, the wood framing, all these things. And by the time we're all done, it'll be down to bones. Log stations and things like that. So we'll see what we do on the next one, permission wise. Until then, thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. And I'll get back to you. Thank you.